Hello, Mom.
Hello, Sydney.
How are you doing?
Doing well. It's
Um,
Monday evening, and
yes.
yes,
So, as you know, I'm taking a class called The Biology of Hope and Belief.
yes.
Um, and I just kind of wanted to gauge your knowledge on some topics that I've been learning about.
Okay.
I think I want to start with what you think about evolution and natural selection. Just kind of like tell me what you already know about those topics.
What my belief is as it comes to evolution and that kind of thing, and how they go maybe with what my set of religious beliefs are, or
Yeah.
well, I do believe that there is a God. However, with that said, that does not mean that I don't believe in science or believe that there was some form of, as we've come along, maybe different animals and things have had to evolve. So I do believe that there has been some sort of process of evolution. I'm not sure how much I believe in that we came, a process from, you know, Neanderthal to as it goes on, because I do believe that there is a God. But that doesn't mean I believe that things were just, a human was just spontaneous either. So I kind of have a mixed bag of beliefs on
Yeah,
that.
we also did. We talked about how the purpose behind religion and how it works in people's lives and how um, people need not shut out one side of the
Right.
conversation or the
I,
other. But I kind of wanted to gauge
that's
your
kind of how I
thoughts
feel.
on natural selection. What do you know about that?
Um, Explain to me a little bit.
It's kind of how species evolved by the survival of the fittest,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Do you know anything about, like, if I say it like that?
Yes. Like you're asking me, do I see that as that's kind of part of the
Part
way
of
the world works?
evolution,
I
sort of?
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We also have been talking about um, hope and how, like, what does hope mean to you in a sense of, like, how people feel hope?
Okay. Hope, I think, comes from, to me, how we persevere through difficult times. I think that um, as long as there's hope, and we know that, and we keep that in the back of our minds for a change or something better, um, being able to grasp onto the theory of um, hope for a better day helps you get through the bad days.
Do you think that animals feel hope?
Well, that's a really good question. I think some probably do. I don't think that every animal has the same mind capacity as
Yeah,
other animals.
I would say, through what I've learned at least, it's technically not how exactly animals don't exactly feel hope in the same way that we usually define it, but animals do. There's some animals that feel grief, and there's some animals that are able to feel hope to get through difficult situations, like people are.
Yes,
Um,
I would say I think that.
mm-hmm. I also wanted to talk about. We've been talking about feelings of love and feelings of hope in the
Okay.
same kind of realm of knowledge. What do you think? Like, what do you think love is? Like, what do you think the feeling of love is? What do you think happens in our bodies and our brains and our hearts?
Well, I mean, of course, we all always equate love to our heart when we know the heart is actually an organ that pumps blood throughout our body.
That's
And so it
good.
keeps us alive.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like love and grief, because you can't have grief without love and those kind of things that go together, where you actually do feel that in your chest. I mean, you kind of feel that whole in your chest thing, but I think that's just, I don't even know how to. I mean, do I think we have the capacity that we really do love? Yes, I do think that we really do love. I think there is unconditional love, like the love between a parent and a child is completely unconditional. Um, I mean, I don't.
But you're right that it is. It's in the brain. It's all about the brain,
Exactly.
and it's
But I think the brain kind of feeds that to where when you're feeling a feeling of deep love, you kind of feel it everywhere, but it comes from the brain, of course. That's
yes,
what I think too. Yeah.
it's a mixture of hormones and neurons and the bonding between two people. It's sort of an evolutionary thing, like what you
I
mentioned,
would think
pair
that.
bonding, and it's strengthened by hormones like oxytocin. And um, do you think that there is like obviously a purpose behind like pair bonding and the reason that certain species feel the need to stay together forever, like for the rest of their lives?
Well, I think it's kind of the way that we were made and the way that we continue to populate, and I think that we were certain species were meant to mate for life. Um, I even think that probably our species was, technically based on the way that we're made, we're probably meant to mate for life, but because of course we have brains and we have free will and we have, the feelings that we talked about and the love, of course, that doesn't always work the way that, maybe we were made for it to work, but that's because we were made with free will and we were made with brains and with these hormones that make us unique and individual. So, what were you asking me? Do I
But
think that we were meant to maybe mate for life? Is that kind of where you're going? I think that probably certain species were meant to mate for life. Yes.
and so, like in the similar way, how we have certain similarities with animals. Um, I kind of wanted to switch it over to a topic that we discussed in the class about music.
Okay.
We did a whole topic about music and how we have certain similarities with animals and how what does music mean to you? What do you
Wow.
think music? How do you think music affects you? Um,
Music, I think, is emotional for me because certain times I can hear a song and it really will make me think of certain things. It will make me emotional. And by emotional, I don't just mean sad or, I mean also excited, want to jump out of my seat when I hear certain songs too, because maybe it'll take me back to a certain time in my life. I think that music really brings out emotion
mhm.
in people.
Yeah.
So,
That's all the time we have.
okay. Well, I
Thank
appreciate.
you for
Thank
interviewing
you
with me.
for including me
But
in this interview. It was
sorry.
very interesting.
Yeah, and before you were right about music and emotion, and it literally
That's kind of how I feel.
shows feelings of euphoria in people's brains, and it actually can have the same effect in animals, and animals use it to mate, and we use it for a lot of different reasons. But
All right.
yeah, anyways, thank you for interviewing with
Thank
me.
you. Thank you, Sydney.